In your algebra class, you have been working with compound inequalities. And so your assignment in Algebra Lab today is just to practice that a little bit more to get a chance to kind of ask some questions if you need to on that. So with compound inequalities, remember a compound inequality is really just two inequalities at once. And so we've got three examples here that we're going to work through. Well, we're not done yet. Three examples that we're going to work through to practice on. So on this first one, we've got -6 is less than x minus 7, which is less than 15. So remember, the idea of a compound inequality is just that you have two inequalities going on at once. And so you really just want to kind of think, what would you do if all you saw was this much of the inequality? And there we go. If all we saw was this inequality, x minus 7 is less than 15. Well, if that was your inequality, I think most of you are pretty comfortable with the fact that you would just start by moving the 7 over, making it plus 7. You would take 15 plus 7, which is 22. And over here you would have an x. You don't need to change your sign because all you did was move things, and you would end up with this answer of x is less than 22. With a compound inequality, you want to do the same thing. It's just that you have two sides to this equation. And so what you just did, you are going to do to both sides of that inequality at once. Well, I don't know if it's not going to let me get rid of this now. So we'll just back up here and think about what we just did, but do it to both sides. So remember what we did was we added 7 to the 15. Well, we're also going to add 7 to this -6. So when you take -6 plus 7, you get +1. When you take 15 plus 7, you get 22. And now in the middle, you still have x. You're not going to change either one of these signs. And so your answer is going to be 1 is less than x, which is less than 22. Okay, so on the next one, again, we have a compound inequality. And that just means that whatever we do to one side, we're also going to do the other side. So I'm not going to try to cover it up again this time, but just ignore this part over here. If our inequality was just -2x is less than 8, what would you do to both sides of the inequality? Okay, you would divide by -2. So we're going to do that to both sections here. We're going to take -2 divided by -2 and also 8 divided by -2. And then we're also kind of doing it in the middle. So -2 divided by -2 is +1. 8 divided by -2 is -4. And in the middle, we end up with just an x. Now we divided by a negative, which means we have to switch these signs around. So now instead of being less than, it's going to be greater than. And so our inequality looks like this. Okay, that answer is not wrong, but that's not normally the way we write it. Normally, the way we write it is so that the smallest number is on the left, just like on a number line. -4 is smaller than 1. So we would probably rewrite this inequality with the -4 on this side and the 1 on this side. And then, of course, we want the inequality sign still to be the same thing. So we want the x to be bigger than the -4. So that inequality sign needs to look like this. And so that gets it back in the right order with x in between -4 and +1. Now that inequality that piece that's in the middle can be a multi-step inequality too. And so for our last example here, we have 1 is less than 3x minus 5, which is less than 22. So think about this inequality. Okay, if we, again, did not have the there we go. I'm having all kinds of trouble here. Okay, if we did not have this side of the inequality, it would just be 3x minus 5 is less than 22. So what would your first step be on this inequality to solve it? Okay, it would be to add 5. So we're going to add 5 to both of these things. Okay, so now 1 plus 5 is 6. 22 plus 5 is 27. So in the middle, we've added 5. We've moved that 5. And so now we just have a 3x. And so now what would your last step be? Okay, we're going to divide by 3. And so if you divide by 3, what is your answer? Okay, divide each one of these things by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Don't switch the inequality signs because we divided by a positive. And so we have 2 is less than x, which is less than 9. And again, notice that that is in the order from smallest to biggest, just like we talked about on the middle one there. All right, so you're going to practice solving these compound inequalities today with a Canvas assignment. So again, go ahead and good luck with that. If you have questions, again, don't forget to reach out via email or Canvas Messenger, and I'll try to get back with you to help you out. Good luck.